I hope you guys are having a great day. Couple of things before I get started. You can visit us at kingrealtytx.com. You can also visit us all over social media, King Realty HTX, King Realty DFW on Instagram, and then obviously you're joining in on Facebook. So I just wanted to make sure I plugged that at the beginning. So we're talking about lender required repairs, and so who is this video for? This information can be really helpful for sellers, can be helpful for investors that are flipping homes. It also can be helpful for home buyers to know what to expect if you're entertaining a house that is being sold as is. So the reason for this video is that I have a homeowner that I'm working with right now. We recently accepted a contract on her home, and one of the provisions of the contract per se is the home is being sold completely as is. And I explained that to the buyer, and then I also had to explain to the seller that because you have accepted a contract on the home that is financed, it's a VA loan in particular, that while we can say that it's completely as is, there may be a slight possibility that an appraiser, when he goes out there, is going to require certain repairs to be completed. So that's why they're called lender required repairs, because the lender orders the appraisal, appraiser goes out there, does his or her thing, sends a report into the lender, and that's part of what's required in order to get the loan approved. So a little bit of background information. Sometimes I'll just spew out things and people will be like, wait, what? What do you, how did you get to that point? So that's the background. So in this particular scenario, the buyer had an inspection done. Me and the seller looked over the report. And of course, I told the seller, hey, we're probably going to have to do a few repairs. Now, this is even before an appraiser goes out to the property, because the appraiser hasn't gone out yet. But I've been doing this long enough. I've been on both sides, the seller side and the buyer side, that I know pretty much what an appraiser is going to flag, if anything. Now, what the appraiser is looking at may vary depending on the loan that the buyer's getting. In this case, it's a VA appraiser, it's a VA loan, and so they're going to be a lot more strict than, let's say, a conventional loan or a conventional appraiser. Same thing, I would kind of put VA and FHA in the same category, to be honest with you. So a lot of similarities, not quite exactly the same, but you might as well just use the information for both. A couple of things that came back is wood rot on some of the siding, some of the exterior wood trim, some evidence of some possible termites. Let's see what else came back. Some water damage to the inside of one of the cabinets. So these are a few of the things that came back. I told my client, I said, look, at the end of the day, this is probably no more than $1,000 worth of repairs, plus the termite stuff, which she had already had a contract for. So we're good in that case. And at first she was like, Courtney, I'm not doing any repairs. And I had to break down that these are the things that the lender more likely than not are going to require because of the type of loan it is. So needless to say, she ended up agreeing to the repairs, and the repairs are underway and they're actually almost complete. So let's give a quick rundown of if you are entertaining a contractor, a buyer that's putting an offer in on your house that's a VA or FHA, or you are the buyer. These are the things that sometimes get flagged by appraisers. So like I said, any damage to the siding on homes, wood rot, any damage to the soffits, which is like the wood piece along the roof line, 9 times out of 10, those are going to be required to be completed by the seller before you actually close on the property, if you're the buyer. Other things is FHA and VA require termite inspections. It's called wood destroying insect inspection, WDI for short. Any conducive conditions on that, which is like, for example, in our case, tree limbs touching the house or touching the brick, those types of things are going to be lender required repairs as well. Those are usually pretty easy, guys. So even like if you're prepping to sell your home, that might be an easy one to do just so you can eliminate that from appearing on a termite inspection or even just a regular inspection report. like I said, conducive conditions, and if the termite inspector sees that there is evidence of an active infestation, all of that has to be repaired or remediated, I guess, or treated if you're dealing with the FHA and VA loans. So that's it in a nutshell. I would say also, while the appraiser may or may not actually flag this on the report, if an inspection comes back and there are significant issues with the roof, guys, you have to get insurance. Normally when you're buying a house, which you should get insurance regardless of if it's optional, but 9 times out of 10 you have to get insurance. And if the roof is so deficient that you can't get insurance, then it's got to be done before you purchase the house. And if a seller has an issue with that, I mean, that's kind of where the negotiation comes in, and where your agent, if you are the buyer, needs to say, hey, this is going to be required in order for us to get insurance, because if we can't get insurance, then we can't buy or close on the house. So that's one of those things, guys, from a seller standpoint, because I deal with a lot of sellers. I've sold personally a lot of houses as well. I know the last thing you want is a amendment coming back saying, you know, from the buyer saying, we want you to do this, that, and the other. I get it. Nobody wants to spend out any more money on a house that they're selling, but in the long run, if you keep these possible repairs in the back of your mind and understand the rationale for doing these type of repairs, even before you get to the appraisal process, kind of that point, it's going to save you a lot of headaches. Okay, so just knock them out at the beginning. During, you know, once you have gotten through the inspection period and option period, is just going to be a lot better, because, for example, this particular client that I mentioned about the termites and the wood rot and stuff like that, if we had waited to agree to repairs once the appraiser actually flagged them, then we're now going to have to extend closing, because that means we need time to do the repairs and time for the appraiser to go back out there. So again, couple of different perspectives, and I'm all about smooth transactions if possible. So sometimes as a seller, you might have to bite the bullet, spend an extra $1,000 or $2,000, which in the bigger scheme of things, to do that, get your house sold, especially during the prime sale season, which is now, you know, it's totally worth it. So if you have a house and you're thinking about selling it, or you just want to get an idea of, hey, what do I need to do before I even list it, in terms of to minimize any issues during the inspection period or the appraisal, definitely reach out to me. Again, I'm not the actual appraiser that goes out to do the assessment, but I know just based on experience what they're looking for. So I hope this is helpful. Visit us, KingRealtyTX.com. Again, Instagram is at KingRealtyDFW and at KingRealtyHTX. I think I'm going to change that and condense it to one, but I'll keep you posted. And then youtube.com/KingRealtyTX. I hope you guys have a great rest of the week, and I will see you next week. And if you have any comments, any thoughts on your experience in this process of selling your home or dealing with appraisals, definitely comment below. And then also, if you want me to cover anything else in the upcoming videos every Wednesday, then definitely reach out to me. I will talk to you guys later. Have a great week.